Imagine a world where chocolate isn't sweet at all, but bitter, spicy, and reserved only for warriors and kings. That was reality for thousands of years. Today, we unwrap billions of chocolate bars without a second thought, but this treat has a wild, ancient past that involves sacrifice, conquest, and global obsession. Before chocolate became the candy we love, it was sacred currency, medicine, and even a drink believed to give supernatural power. So how did a bitter ceremonial beverage transform into the creamy, sugary delight on your grocery shelf? Buckle up, because the story of chocolate is anything but simple, and it starts deep in the rainforests of Mesoamerica. In this video, we're taking you on a time-traveling adventure through chocolate's incredible transformation. First, we'll explore how the Maya and Aztecs turned cacao beans into a drink fit for gods and nobility. Then, we'll cross the Atlantic to see how European explorers added sugar and created an entirely new obsession. We'll also uncover the brilliant invention that gave us the first solid milk chocolate bar, a game-changer that made chocolate accessible to everyone. Finally, we'll go behind the scenes of the modern chocolate-making process, from tropical farms to factory assembly lines. By the end, you'll never look at a chocolate bar the same way again. Ready to begin? Long before chocolate became candy, the ancient Maya cultivated cacao trees in the tropical rainforests of Central America around 1500 BCE. They didn't eat chocolate, they drank it. The Maya would grind roasted cacao beans, mix them with water, chili peppers, and cornmeal, then pour the mixture back and forth to create a thick, frothy beverage. This drink, called chocolatl, was bitter and nothing like today's hot chocolate. It was consumed during religious ceremonies, royal feasts, and important rituals, often as an offering to gods. The Maya believed cacao had divine properties and even used cacao beans as currency. Imagine paying for your groceries with chocolate! But the story doesn't end with the Maya. When the Aztecs rose to power in the 14th century, they inherited the Maya's love for cacao and took it even further. The Aztec emperor Montezuma reportedly drank gallons of chocolatl every day, believing it gave him energy, stamina, and even aphrodisiac powers. Aztec warriors consumed the drink before battle, trusting it would make them fierce and unstoppable. Like the Maya, the Aztecs flavored their cacao with chili and spices, never sugar. Cacao was so valuable that Aztec nobles demanded it as tribute from conquered peoples, and cacao beans became a form of money throughout the empire. A rabbit might cost 10 beans. A slave could cost thousands. So when Spanish conquistadors arrived in the early 1500s, they didn't just find gold, they discovered chocolate. And that discovery would change the world. When Hernán Cortés brought cacao back to Spain in the 1520s, Europeans were confused by the bitter drink. But Spanish monks and nobles had a brilliant idea. What if we add sugar? Suddenly, chocolate became a sensation. The Spanish kept their sweetened chocolate recipe a secret for nearly a century, enjoying it as a luxury drink in royal courts. Eventually, the secret spread across Europe. By the 1600s, chocolate houses popped up in London and Paris, much like coffee shops today, where the wealthy gathered to sip hot chocolate and discuss politics. Sugar plantations in the Caribbean fueled this new obsession, though the dark history of colonialism and slavery made this sweetness possible. Chocolate was no longer just for warriors. It became a symbol of European wealth and sophistication. But it was still only a drink. The next revolution was yet to come. For thousands of years, chocolate was only consumed as a beverage. That changed in 1847 when a British company called J.S. Fry & Sons made history. They discovered that by mixing cocoa powder, sugar, and cocoa butter, they could create a smooth paste that could be molded into a solid bar. The world's first eating chocolate was born. This invention revolutionized the chocolate industry. Suddenly, chocolate wasn't just for the rich. It could be mass-produced, wrapped, and sold to everyday people. Then, in 1875, a Swiss chocolatier named Daniel Peter added powdered milk to the mix, creating the first milk chocolate bar. This creamy, sweeter version became an instant hit. Companies like Cadbury, Nestle, and Hershey soon followed, turning chocolate into the global phenomenon we know today. The ancient warrior's drink had officially become the world's favorite candy. Here's something wild. White chocolate isn't technically chocolate at all because it contains no cocoa solids, only cocoa butter. And that bloom you sometimes see on old chocolate? It's just cocoa butter or sugar crystals rising to the surface. It's harmless and safe to eat. The biggest chocolate consumers aren't in the Americas, but in Europe. Switzerland leads the world with an average of 20 pounds per person each year. Chocolate also contains a compound called theobromine, which gives you a mild energy boost, similar to caffeine but gentler. Some scientists even study chocolate's potential health benefits. Dark chocolate is rich in antioxidants that may support heart health. And here's a fun one. It takes about 400 cacao beans to make just 1 pound of chocolate. That's a lot of beans for your candy bar. But not everything you've heard about chocolate is true. Let's bust some myths. Myth number 1. Chocolate causes acne. Scientists have found no strong direct link between chocolate and breakouts. It's more about overall diet, hormones, and genetics. Myth number 2. Chocolate is highly addictive like drugs. While chocolate does trigger pleasure chemicals in your brain, it's not chemically addictive the way substances like nicotine are. You might crave it, but that's different from true addiction. Myth number 3. All chocolate is bad for you. Dark chocolate with high cocoa content actually contains beneficial antioxidants and may improve blood flow. The problem is added sugar and fat, not the cacao itself. And finally, many people believe chocolate was invented in Switzerland. As we've learned, chocolate's roots go back thousands of years to Mesoamerica. The Swiss just perfected milk chocolate. So next time someone repeats one of these myths, you'll know the real story. Now let's test your knowledge. Let's pause for a quick quiz. First question. Which ancient civilization first cultivated cacao? The Maya or the Aztecs? If you said the Maya, you're correct. They were drinking chocolate over 1,000 years before the Aztecs. Next question. What did Europeans add to chocolate to make it popular? Sugar, of course. Third question. Who invented the first solid chocolate bar? That was J.S. Fry & Sons in Britain back in 1847. And finally, what ingredient did Daniel Peter add to create milk chocolate? Powdered milk, giving us that creamy taste we love today. How did you do? If you got most of them right, you're officially a chocolate history expert. If not, no worries. That's why you're watching. Now let's talk about why chocolate still matters so much in our world. Today, chocolate is a massive global industry, worth over $130 billion annually. But behind every candy bar is a complex supply chain that starts with small farmers in tropical regions like West Africa, which produces about 70% of the world's cacao. Unfortunately, many cacao farmers live in poverty and face challenges like unfair wages, child labor, and climate change threatening crops. Organizations are now pushing for fair trade chocolate, which ensures farmers receive fair payment and work in safe conditions. As consumers, choosing ethically sourced chocolate can actually make a difference. Climate change is also a serious concern. Cacao trees need specific humid, warm conditions, and shifting weather patterns could drastically reduce cacao production in the next few decades. Some scientists are even working on developing drought-resistant cacao varieties. So that chocolate bar isn't just a treat, it's connected to farmers, economies, and our planet's future. Speaking of the future, what questions remain? Despite thousands of years of chocolate history, some mysteries remain. Scientists still don't fully understand why cacao has such complex flavors. There are over 600 flavor compounds in chocolate, more than in wine. Researchers are also exploring whether certain compounds in dark chocolate could genuinely benefit brain health and mood, though studies are ongoing. Another open question: can we make chocolate production truly sustainable and ethical on a global scale? Or will climate change force us to find alternatives? Some companies are experimenting with lab-grown chocolate made from engineered yeast cells, but it's still in early stages. We also don't know if future generations will consume chocolate the same way we do, or if new innovations will transform it yet again. Chocolate has reinvented itself many times throughout history. Who knows what's next? Let's wrap up what we've learned. So there you have it. Chocolate's incredible journey from a bitter ceremonial drink in ancient Mesoamerica to the sweet, creamy bars we enjoy today. We explored how the Maya and Aztecs revered cacao as a divine gift, how Europeans transformed it with sugar, and how inventors like Fry and Peter gave us the solid chocolate we know and love. We busted myths, tested your knowledge, and examined chocolate's real-world impact on farmers and our planet. Chocolate isn't just candy. It's a story of culture, innovation, trade, and survival. Next time you unwrap a chocolate bar, take a moment to appreciate the thousands of years of history in your hands. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to Easy Learning for more fascinating stories, and drop a comment telling us your favorite type of chocolate. Thanks for watching, and stay curious.